I'm an American taxpayer and a British citizen and a European Union citizen and a thinking, thoughtful individual. Having thought about it and reflected on the criminalisation of plants, their extracts, and the consequences of the criminalised state, I think it's the appropriate statement to say, I support the decriminalisation of plants and drugs. And I support the careful testing that anybody wants of any compounds that they have so they can know what it is they're getting. And also that people can have a test of their doctor to see if they are allergic. Some people seem to have a bad reaction to methylethylene MDMA. And some people have a bad reaction to some cannabis products and they get paranoid. They get red eye and it isn't working out well for them. And some people have a bad reaction and they can't quit certain things. Some people can. And the word addictive is a legitimate word. Psychologically addictive, physically addictive. If someone's addicted, they're addicted. And I believe all these should be allowed on the National Health Service. My name is Leaf and I endorse the decriminalisation and the reintegration, because they're not really a taboo. A taboo is something that you know is wrong, that you think is wrong, and it probably is wrong, probably for kind of reasons, and so you don't do taboo things. You know they're taboo really. Maybe like it crosses your mind or something, but whatever. Drugs are not really a taboo. Because taboo's been around since the beginning of time. But drugs have not. MDMA has not been around since the beginning of time. A friend of mine gave me a quarter of an E, and I was really paranoid because my heart was thumping. And he put it in my tea. Silly person. So I went to the hospital, and I was really paranoid, scared, like I was going to die. And the medical team said, right, you got to stay in here. You can stay in this kind of quiet room. So I stayed in there, and then in the morning, when it kind of wore off, the sunrise was brilliant because of the MDMA. But some people are allergic, and people have to be able to test the compound, and there must be a test to see if people are likely to suffer an adverse reaction, because no one should, in this modern world, have to deal with the kind of a situation where you don't know whether you're allergic to it or not. Everything should be decriminalised and managed so that beautiful people like Kirsty Marie Fitchett, so that the world is a safer transition from putting a lollipop in your mouth, which is how she was, to putting a cigarette in your mouth, which is what happened to her. And people are intelligent enough and they're allowed to do things like that. We impose something on things like that, which are not taboo. It's not a taboo to do something that has been introduced. But you need to understand what it is, rationally, be educated properly in the educational system. So they tell you, these things are addictive to 99.9% of people, physically or mentally. But the key word is they're addictive. But they also have emotional properties. So, for example, a child like Kirsty Marie Fitchett, who would have been diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, one of the symptoms is a verbal outburst. Another is that they start smoking at a very early age, and they use that to cope with their hyperactivity. And I know this because my little brother was diagnosed with it, and from the age of 12, he started stealing my mother's cigarettes, and he would sneak off and smoke them. So I know the signs when someone has attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and these children go through a lot, and there aren't that many mental health services anymore to properly link eating disorders as well. So we can use these words, they are disorders, but we can say it's actually eating issues, and we could say it's socially caused. Either way, it's important to get to the situation where the government and good people, I spoke to Keir Starmer, and we talked about things. He's quite an intelligent, thoughtful person. His team is really good. If you go to Camden, he has a meeting at Crown House, and you can talk to him, and he's there, and he's got his whole team. He's brilliant, really good person, and I think he's going to be the next legitimately elected Prime Minister. And I sincerely believe, and I endorse him, and I'd like to tell you why I stand alongside him, because I believe Labour are slightly better than the Conservative Party. And what we're in now, because the Conservative Party have taken us on a journey, and they'll still be coming along, it's time for reconciliation, right? Check this out. Because we're going in a certain direction because of the Conservative Party. When you take over, when Labour, who are slightly better, right? Trust me on this, and they've got a lot of experience of infrastructure. The Green Party are brilliant. Now here's the thing, right? Bringing people together, why is it worth doing it if they're just a bit better? Isn't it a bit of a waste of time? If you can be a little bit better, you should. If you can be a little bit more fun and loved, you should. That's the right way to be. And because the Conservative Party, and it's not really all their fault, because they're just people, right? They can't wave a magic wand. But they've got us into a situation where it has got, now this is my opinion, a little bit worse. Over time, thinking about all the things, they even took back that £20 that they'd given to people. They should not have taken it back. They did certain little silly things that had a cumulative bad effect. I got worse and worse and worse. And I'm not really smiling, because I'm thinking it's a poisoned chalice that Labour have, because they have to kind of slightly adjust the way the vehicle is going. Our country is a vehicle. So, I'm almost as old as Keir Starmer, and I endorse this message, but I'm not quite as wise. I haven't really had his full experience of the world, and that's the difference. Knowing that someone has actually had a bit more experience is a good thing. That's knowledge, and knowledge empowers you to not have to take that poisoned chalice of life. And they are brave for standing up and but doing the research. They're brave for doing the research and standing up to look at things and be calm and rational and realize that you're lucky if you have enough inside your heart to give to someone else's heart. But you have to have it in your heart, and you have to have the wisdom. But that can take a while. You can be good, you can have intuition, but wisdom takes ages. It's taken me all this time to put this out here and go, you know what, Labour are, in my opinion, slightly better than the Conservative Party. And the Conservative Party are human beings, they're people, and they have a right to be redeemed, if that's the right word. So thanks a lot.